right, today we're diving into something that can honestly make or break a company's cash flow and its customer relationships. We're talking about dispute resolution. The goal here is pretty simple, making sure customer issues get handled fast and, more importantly, accurately. It's all about turning that potential chaos into some real clarity. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the problems you run into with old-school manual ways of doing things. Then we'll see how automated workflows come in and create a real solution. After that, we'll get into the cool part, the power of the data you get from this. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the big business benefits. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the problem. In way too many businesses, disputes are still raised through, a total mess of emails and random phone calls. It might sound simple, but trust me, it's the root cause of some really big and often hidden problems. So what are these hidden costs really? Just look at that comparison. On the left, that's the manual approach. It's just chaos. It's totally disorganized, right? Critical info gets buried in endless email chains. It's completely opaque. Who's even supposed to be handling this? Nobody knows. And what's the result? The whole thing just grinds to a halt. It's incredibly slow. What we're aiming for, of course, is that structured, fast path you see on the right. And here's the thing. The consequences of that slow, messy process, they hit the company's bottom line hard. We're talking major delays in getting paid, financial reports that you just can't trust, and maybe worst of all, you end up with really, really unhappy customers. So the big question is, how do we fix this? Well, that brings us right to our next section, automated workflows. This is where things get interesting. With automation, you basically transform that entire messy manual system into something that's structured, super efficient, and totally transparent. The journey for every single dispute now follows this really clear, logical four-step process. Let's walk through it together. Okay, so it all kicks off with step 1, capture. Instead of a customer's complaint just disappearing into someone's inbox, the system captures every single detail through a standardized portal. So whether it's an incorrect price, a tax problem, a missing delivery, whatever it is, all that crucial info is locked in one place, right from the very beginning. So what happens next? Once all that information is captured, this is where the automation really starts to shine. The system takes over, automatically handling the next 2 steps, categorization and routing. See, based on the details, the dispute is instantly identified and bam, sent to the exact right team. No guesswork. It just goes straight to billing or sales or fulfillment, whoever needs to see it. And what's so powerful about this is that it's not random at all. Each dispute follows a predefined workflow, and that means a few really important things. First, there's always crystal clear ownership of the problem. Second, there's a defined timeline for getting it solved. And third, all the documentation you could possibly need is right there from the get-go. And all of this leads us to the final step, resolution. Because you have that structured workflow, different teams can now collaborate super efficiently, all inside one system. They can look at the evidence, validate the claim, and figure out the right solution together. So what are the common outcomes here? Well, as you can see, the resolution might mean issuing a credit note, or maybe just updating the original invoice with the correct info. Or, hey, if the claim turns out to be invalid, you can confidently close the dispute. But just fixing individual problems is only half the story. The real power of automation, well, it comes from the insights it unlocks. Because you're structuring all this data, you suddenly get access to these incredibly powerful, real-time dashboards. Just think about it for a second. Imagine being able to see, at a single glance, exactly what's going on with all your disputes. That's the power these dashboards give you. You can see how many cases are open right now, how old they are, what the main root causes are, and crucially, how all of these things are trending over time. Okay, so here is the crucial takeaway. When you look at a chart like this, you can immediately spot the patterns, the recurring problems. In this example, it's obvious. Pricing inconsistencies are a huge issue. And an insight like that tells you exactly where you need to go to fix the problem at the source, way upstream in your process. And this is a fundamental shift in mindset. It lets the whole organization move from being reactive, just putting out fires as they pop up, to being proactive. You're actually solving the root causes of these issues for good. All right, so after all of that, you might be thinking, okay, but why does this really matter to my business? The answer is simple. The payoffs from automating these workflows are massive, and they're very real. First and foremost, you get paid faster. It's that simple.
By resolving these issues in a fraction of the time, you can dramatically shrink the delays in your payment and collection cycles.
Benefit number 2 is a big one, a way better customer experience. I mean, just put yourself in your customer's shoes for a minute. When they know their problems will be handled quickly and they can see what's happening, that builds an incredible amount of trust and satisfaction. You can actually turn a negative situation into a positive one.
And finally, number 3, it makes sure you maintain clean, accurate financial records. With a perfect audit trail for every single dispute, your financial reporting becomes so much more reliable across that entire order-to-cash process. So let's go back to that final question. If your manual process is like a tangled mess of wires, what could you build once it's a straight line? Because that's what this is all about. By transforming that chaotic, manual process into a clear, automated workflow, you're not just solving today's problems. You're unlocking the data you need to prevent tomorrow's.